are back, and now we are going to discuss our wide receivers 6 through 10 ish. We've already said some of the names that some of us have in certain spots. So let's start off at the wide receiver 6 spot. Myself and SportsFan both have Ladd McConkey. Brian had Xavier Legette, so we already discussed him to an extent. Ladd McConkey, I think he was probably the biggest winner from the pre-combine discussion, from before the combine even occurred. A lot of people were really familiarizing themselves with the slot receiver from Georgia, who was not just a slot receiver. I think a lot of people had an assumption of what he would do, and then at the combine when he ran at 4.3, it just boosted his stock even more to where he is a potential first-round pick. And now we have him in the same discussions as Brian Thomas, A.D. Mitchell, Xavier Legette, Keon Coleman, guys like that. So, Ladd McConkey, SportsFan, what stands out to you about him?
It's just, before the combine, you could say he has sneaky athleticism. Like, he's faster than what you think. But now, when you got the 40 time, it's like he's as fast as you think. When you watch the film, he was really the main receiver that was running routes down the field, getting open, running them digs, running them corner routes, running them slants to really get open versus, deeper man coverage versus the best DBs in SEC. He was mainly that guy winning on those routes. And after he got the ball, he would really go, showing yak, showing ability to break tackles. I've seen comparisons. I liked him, but I didn't know how much other people liked him. I seen comparisons to Doug Baldwin. I see comparisons to Antonio Brown. I see comparisons to some of the best route runners the league has ever seen. So I'm glad I'm not the only one just feeling that way. But it's like his ability to just break down and snap on routes is almost unparalleled in this draft. Me personally, I'd probably say he's the best route runner in this draft, just overall, to be honest with you. Just speaking route running, he might be the best. He don't have the best hands, of course. He's not the fastest. He doesn't have the bigger build, but just running routes, the art of running routes, I don't think a receiver is going to say he's bad at that. I think he's probably the best in the draft. So when it comes down to NFL, it's about winning your one-on-one matchups, winning routes. And, I feel like DBs in the league will show covering man-to-man. The thing I really want to see is how well he does at diagnosing zones, finding the soft spots in zones, because that's a big part of, playing receiver in the league.
He's able to do that. We might see something special.
Yeah.
Honestly,
or you put him in the slot.
Hey, honestly, you said he's the best route runner in the class. I don't know if it's really that close. I mean, I think he's clearly one. I think you may have discussions about Malik, but you still have the same questions about Malik's route running on the outside versus the slot. I think Ladd probably deals with the press on the outside better than Malik did.
Yeah.
Do you think that's crazy to say?
No, that's not crazy at all. We even saw it in the one-on-ones where he was be able to be depressed.
Ball, nobody could put his hands on him. He was cooking Keon Mitchell. He was cooking everybody. He just
so Ladd isn't as explosive after the catch, but I mean he has the athleticism to still make something happen once he gets it. Like SportsFan said, you put him in the slot, if he's able to truly diagnose zone coverages once he because we all know what he can do against man coverage. If he's truly able to diagnose what he can do against zone coverages, if he has a good enough quarterback, this is a potential 100 catch, 115 catch guy in the league, 1,000 yards every year, because he's able to win against man coverage, and he just has the play style to where, he's cerebral potentially. Sneaky athletic, but we know the 40 number now, so we can't even say sneaky athletic, quicker than fast. But if he's able to,
lunch pail type guy,
blue collar,
real type of guy you would want to bring home to meet your kids. But this is the type of, if he can settle into the zone coverages, there's nothing he can't do on the football field. And this is probably the one receiver in the 6 through 10 range where it's probably the safest bet to have some sort of success. At worst, I think year to year he's an 800-yard guy. At worst. Because every team could use a Ladd McConkey. Everybody needs this type of guy.
Yeah.
Everybody.
If you watch his film, it's like nothing he didn't do. He caught screens. He did deep routes. He did slants and goals. It's like...
Was he returning punt?
A lot of him a lot.
I don't think they had him returning kicks. I'm not sure.
He probably can, though.
He probably could. I won't be surprised. They probably won't waste him doing that, though. They'll throw a crash down there.
This might be the peak of this build.
You said what?
This might be the peak of this particular build.
The Jerry Rice of what?
I can't say that. I can't say of what. because we might get canceled. But this is the peak of this receiver. I don't know. I might like him better than Cooper Kupp. I'm kidding.
So, great thing you brought up Cooper Kupp, because I was gonna say if you could get him in a McVay or a Kyle Shanahan type offense, he might be putting up 1,200 at the worst, like yearly.
I don't even know if the offense matters, man. We saw Hunter Renfrow have like almost 1,000 yards a couple years ago, man.
That's a good point.
I think Lad McConkey does every single thing better than Hunter Renfrow on the football field, and he's bigger.
I agree.
Bigger, stronger, faster.
It was dark times. I remember him getting Lad McConkey was getting Hunter Renfrow comparisons. I said, ain't no way.
But I feel like that at the very worst.
I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
The Lad McConkey, Hunter Renfrow, that was straight skin color analysis. There was nothing else involved in that. It was really sick.
Might be the first white receiver to get these black comps. This is groundbreaking stuff. Like, I haven't seen a white comp for him in a while. Ever since the combine, it's all black receivers for him.
Yeah, when I saw Antonio Brown, I said, "Oh, we really left. You really left.
We're cooking.
We left the Julian Edelmans. We left the Wes Walker. Now we going
to now. Can't say that no more because they ran 4.6, 4.7. Lad out there running 4.3, breaking a sweat.
Yeah. I was going to say, at the very worst, like when he first starts out, he'll be like the security blanket guy because he'll be the guy that can find a way to get open in third downs. I think he'll find ways to read zones and stuff like that. He's, as we said, he's a pretty superable guy. So I think going forward, he'll be able to do that well. I think he probably didn't have to worry about it as much because obviously you had like Brock Bowers and other guys who were more targeted defensively, I guess I would say. But yeah, I think sky's honestly the limit for Lad going forward because he's able to do the things that you want a receiver to do, which is route run, being able to separate, good with the hands, very, 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 very agile as well. So I don't think there's a whole lot of weaknesses in his game, but I think the only question, honestly, is like how consistent do you think he can be outside, and that may be why he's wavering on people's lists. But yeah, I think he's a guy that you see as a first round talent.
And of course, like he's 6 foot flat or 5'11". Still have the size concern, but like
this could look foolish in a couple of years.
Yeah,
he has the upside of a top 4 receiver in this class. Whether we like it or not, this could look foolish. But at the same time, I think where he currently is probably a safe bet.
Yeah,
that might just show how historic this class is, though.
It's hard to rank him higher than receivers like 6'3", 6'4". So he's not gonna be better than Rome, Marv.
Is he better than JS?
Brian, AD. He's not built like Xavier Legette or one of the other receivers. He's not as explosive as Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas. So it's hard to really put him higher than receivers, but at the end of the day, his career could end up better, and he ends up with a quarterback and just throw him the ball. Really,
yeah. So to answer your question, CT, I think he might have been like wide receiver 3 or 4 last year.
Oh, say that again. Is he better than JSN?
That's his question. Yeah.
Without a doubt. I never liked JSN to begin with.
Oh, I ain't know that. My bad.
I can't explain it. Like I'll watch JSN and I'll see his numbers, and I'll just be like, that's not because of him. That's because of CJ Stroud. And I knew that.
I don't know. I still like JSN, though. I think I think if you put JSN in his class, he doesn't stand out as much as he did last year because of the lack of explosiveness and lack of size. Yeah. And I think you put Lad in last year's class, he has an argument for wide receiver 1. Because JSN was wide receiver 1, right? Or was it
It might have been Addison.
Addison?
Either Addison or JSN. Because I think QJ was like 4, and then
back to back almost.
Yeah, because I feel like QJ was 4 and Zay Flowers was 3.
Because Zay Flowers was my wide receiver 1 last year, but I think they went back to back to back to back.
Yeah, they went 4 straight. And then the Giants had to pick a corner at that point.
What a disgusting draft by the Chargers. Anyway,
phenomenal
to leave out of that class, and they took Quentin Johnston over
Zay Flowers. And Jordan Addison, I think.
Anyway, let's not talk about Chargers. It's going to upset me. Next receiver on my board.
Guy. Yes, sir.
No. Next receiver on my board is Keon Coleman. This is why I asked Brian about the FSU Pro Day. just so we could get some more eyes on the Keon Coleman footage. I'm expecting a pretty good pro day performance from him. He had a pretty good combine. We talked about this in our combine episode.
Why are you expecting a pretty good pro day performance?
I mean, he can run routes and stuff. Like, I don't think it's gonna be anything bad. It's just the question is he gonna get that 40 up? That might be about it.
I don't even think he's gonna run it. He doesn't need to. The GPS at the combine proved everything that we knew. He may not be quick in a straight line, but when it comes to running them routes,
that agility.
Hey,
air, dude. When a DB right there, he not gonna run that fast.
What? You think somebody is stopping that frame from running that fast?
They did it this season.
That was a bad coaching. This is what we talked about. See, this is why we need that footage from the last episode.
No, seriously, Jay. Who?
There was bad coaching. He needs a real wide receiver coach, and I think he has a real wide receiver coach right now. I don't know who it is, but those GPS times from the the mile per hour is from the routes. Moved me. I did not.
It was on air and short.
But you're not understanding the frame plus the speed. Nobody is really trying to get in front of that.
What do you mean?
There won't be much resistance. He'll just get him off me. Get him off me. Once he learns that,
I don't know about that.
He wasn't doing that versus dude learning algebra and calculus every week.
You're gonna have a good coach.
He's doing that versus grown men paid millions to stop him.
And Keon Coleman also goes into the if you can scheme the ball into his hands, he could probably make something happen. This is a guy at Florida State who returned kicks and punts. So this is somebody who has the agility to make once the ball gets into his hands. So if you can get the ball into his hands, scheming it up any type of way,
Cordell Patterson.
He can have success.
You can't use him in the backfield like Cordero.
Hey, he might be able to.
That's cool. You got it.
I would say his teammate Jaheim Bell you would use more like that than Keon.
Has a Cordell Patterson career. That makes him a Hall of Famer, right?
Fuck no. See, I knew he was gonna. That's such a crazy.
Doesn't that make me right?
Is it? Oh my.
If my wide receiver 7 turns into a Hall of Famer, you guys just have to apologize.
I mean, this is a very historic class if the wide receiver 7 becomes a Hall of Famer. In any standpoint.
It won't be a Hall of Famer being a receiver though.
That's not
the point. That's not what he's gonna think about, JG. That's like saying that Devin Hester didn't go in as a receiver. Like that.
Being a good football player. That's all it is. Good football player. But I think if he gets the ball in his hands on offense, not even on the punt and kick returns, I think if he gets the ball in his hands on offense, he can make something happen. I think he is a receiver who needs a good situation around him. So I don't want to put him in a situation where he's thrown out there as the X every single play, like the Cardinals were doing with D-Hop a couple years ago that SportsFan mentioned, and expecting him to win on the outside, because that's just not his game. It's not his game yet. I think if you were able to find scenarios for him to get the ball in his hands, either from the slot or maybe from the outside, even times maybe you put him in the backfield and have him run routes from the backfield. Get creative and figuring out how to get him the ball. I think it can work out for him.
So early on, would you use him like as a Z receiver and kind of like try to, use him in motion so that way he doesn't have to worry about beating presses?
I try to use him in almost any way possible. Any way that I can find a way to get him the ball. Outside of, just keeping him strictly as an outside receiver. Just because he's not the greatest route runner yet in order to beat the outside cornerbacks or routinely in the NFL. So creativity, H-back, running back. Figure out different things to use him and how to get him the ball, because that's what he thrives at. The receiver stuff will come afterwards. The typical traditional receiver stuff can come afterwards.
The receiver stuff will come afterwards for a receiver you think should be drafted in the first round. Okay. It's like
the wide receiver 7 being drafted in the first round.
You never said Keon Coleman should be drafted in the first round. You never said that. Are you just gonna believe that more?
I don't know. I think if the right situation is in the first round, maybe.
The right situation.
That's the right situation.
Would it have to be like San Fran? Because I feel like you semi alluded to that in the mock draft, but I can't remember.
We can just say any player and go to San Fran and fit in. We got to stop doing that.
No. I'm only asking because I feel like that was the pick. Because I know when we got to Kansas City, he was like, "That's not a good fit for Keon.
If he can't fit in Kansas City, he's not fitting anywhere, dog. If Andy Reid hand draw plays for you, there's nowhere in the league you can draw plays for you.
I'm not saying he can't fit in Kansas City. I just think they have too many players in that slot position right now to where he won't be able to get as many snaps.
A slot player? 6'4" slot player?
Keon is not really 6'4", dude. Is that what he measured in at the combine? If he's really 6'4",
what?
Let's find the combine numbers.
Are you serious? Are you dead ass, dude?
Well, apparently some of those pro day measurements have been different than the combine, so we'll see. But
you're trolling me. You're trolling me.
He's 6'3".
You're trolling me. You're trolling me.
He came in at 6 foot at the combine.
6'1",
basically.
Came at 6'1". I thought he was 6'4". What happened to that? How do you lose?
I'm gonna check again, but based on what I wrote down, it said he was 6 foot 3/4.
Yeah, sounds about right. That's what it looked like. He didn't look like he was 6'4".
NFL.com says 6'3".
They're lying. He doesn't look like he's 6'4".
Oh my God! Why is this comparison on here? Drake London? No, Lance Zierlein. What are you doing? Oh my God! Lance Zierlein might be the worst draft analyst.
Yeah, I must have miswrote it because it's saying 6'3" 1/4. Maybe I said it wrong.
Keon Coleman, it's like, I don't know. He's good after the catch, I guess.
So I'm saying, getting the ball.
At that point, you can just draft anybody and say, give him the ball and call it a day.
No, because everybody's not good after the catch.
Yeah, but you also got to be good before the catch, and he's not really that good before the catch.
Not if you figure out ways to get in the ball without him having to get in the way.
Bro, at that point, why even draft a receiver? Just draft a running back, scheme him open, and then give him the ball.
The running backs be slow, man. They be running 4.7s now these days.
No, they don't. No, they don't. You're such a liar. We had running backs run a 4.3 this year. Stop lying.
But they be tiny. It's like them 4.3 running backs be 5'10", 200.
Basically, Keon Coleman's a 6'4" running back.
No. But if that's what you want to call them, sure.
You don't notice as the two players you like the most? They're both 6'3" running backs, 6'1" running backs.
Xavier Legette. See, you keep talking about Xavier Legette. These are two different prospects here.
They have the identical,
They're different though. They're completely different.
They're different.
What's different?
Xavier actually wins.
He wins what? What routes? What route he wins on?
The routes that he wins, that he needs to win. Post and goes.
So I'm gonna send y'all the tweet that I got.
He wins post and goes. That's what Xavier get. Okay.
And then wait until he gets to the league and is a slot receiver. Oh. Can't wait.
So yeah, I misread it. So JG he did measure in a 6'3" 1/4. The tweet that I got it from misread and read the guy underneath him.
Got you. All right, so I think there's enough to talk about Keon Coleman, man. I don't think there's even enough film in the show to cover about 20 seconds of my talk.
We got to use his Michigan State film.
Ugh. He was better at Michigan State, so that might have to work. Boy transferred, got a better quarterback and got worse. How does that work? And then his 6'7" teammate ran faster than him. Anyway, it's we gotta talk about real receivers again. Who we got next?
I don't have no real receivers left.
You do. You sure? Yeah, I sure hope you do.
I got Xavier Worthy at 9, 4.21.
Yeah, I don't think much more needs to be said.
4.21.
It shows when the film goes. He gets the ball and he goes.
I think we're in an era where you can figure out how to actually make this work. I think a lot of people have struggled with these these fast receivers who break combine records and stuff, and actually getting them to have success in the league. The John Rosses, the what's his name, Dree Archer, those type of guys. When you see these type of West Coast offenses that scheme up different things, if you could just get the ball in the playmakers' hands, because I think that's what Xavier Worthy has proven to be at Texas. He's been a playmaker all 3 years. As a freshman, he was scaring me as an Oklahoma fan because I didn't know what he was about to turn into. But he's been a playmaker all 3 years at Texas, and as long as you get him the ball, this isn't the type of player where you just send him deep every play and just hope he gets open. This is the type of player where you can throw him a screen, throw him a drag, throw him a slant, and maybe he'll take it 40, 30, 40, 50 yards, you know? So I think if he's put in the right situation, a Chiefs, a 49ers, a Dolphins, and I don't think the Dolphins would need another one of these receivers.
Miami gets him, it might get crazy.
But if you can put him in a situation where they give him the ball and let him take advantage of his speed, he can have success. But I just can't put him that much higher than all these other receivers just because he is a bit on the smaller side. I think, what do you weigh in at, 160?
165.
Yeah, so it's a struggle to see how well he will actually hold up. And you
John
really question his upside.
188 comparison.
Yeah. You really question to see his upside doing anything aside from like the drags, the bubble screens, and the occasional go route. But for what he is, if you can scheme something up for him, I think he could have success in the league. But he's my wide receiver 9.
So I agree there. He's my wide receiver 10. I think I originally had him at 9 after the combine, but I have him as his 10th guy. I think early on, depending on what team he goes to, they might try to just early on use him as a deep threat. I think if they have the realization like you do, CT, he could be utilized in more ways. But I think if he's not in like a West Coast system, he's going to be used like they're going to try to use him like he's Deshaun Jackson or somebody like that.
Yeah, that's the quickest way for him to be another John Ross, though. But
Yeah,
hopefully a team is able to be creative with him. I mean, a lot of these receivers in the 6 to 10 range, they don't do all things well, but if you can figure out the things that they do well, you could see them have success in their roles, have them being a star in their roles. They're not going to be your number one guy, probably, but they could be a good number 2, number 3 option in your offense. They could be a good number 2, number 3 in a good offense.
yeah.
Yeah, figuring out how to take advantage of the speed. This is an asset that you can't just send deep on random second downs. Figure out how to get him.
Yeah, you can do that. He'll win.
I mean, it'll work, but you saw the same thing. They tried to do it with John Ross. You see Marquise Goodwin, track runner. I mean,
To give Xavier credit, he done more in college than all them guys, especially John Ross. John Ross didn't do anything to his last year in college. He had a great last year. Before that, he had like 500 total yards. Xavier Worthy had like 800, 700, and 1,000 yards last season with quarterback play that I think could have been better. He had a lot of underthrown passes even when he beat DBs. So, like Mingo said, if they actually draw plays up other than just tell him to go run deep, he can do more than that. He can be the screen guy. He can be the quick slant go. He actually ran routes pretty well. But I wouldn't say he ran routes elite because he's like his elite route runner. Just because of his speed, DBs have to respect that type of speed. And when you get DBs turning their hips or backpedaling, or, trying to bail to match what he's doing, all he has to do is stop, and the DB's like moving 5-10 yards on the field, and he's gonna be open almost every time. So, and that type of speed usually requires safety help. So, just him being on the field can actually make other people open on the field. So, it's interesting to see what team will value that speed enough to draft him. I've seen the Colts and Cardinals are going to have top 30 visits with him soon, so I'm interested to see what those look like.
Colts must think he's going to get past 32.
Yeah, I guess the new favorite spot is to say that he'll be a Chief, but once again, I don't know if the Chiefs really need somebody like that. Will he get past 32? I just based on speed alone and how we've seen it be overdrafted in the draft for years now. He's probably a first-round prospect, just based on the draft. But me personally, I probably wouldn't draft him in the first round. But somebody's gonna do it. Somebody's gonna say we can make this work. So we'll see.